Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Ladder Podcast, your step-by-step guide to climbing the ladder of English fluency. I'm your host, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. Whether you're commuting, relaxing at home, or having a cup of coffee, this is the perfect place to sharpen your English skills in a natural and stress-free way. In today's episode, we are going to dive into something we all do but often struggle to describe, our daily routine. Think about it. How many times a day does someone ask you, "How was your day?" or "What are you up to?" If you've ever hesitated to answer, this lesson is specifically for you. We're not just going to learn boring, isolated words. Instead, we're going to practice full, meaningful sentences that you can actually use in real conversations. We'll break it down into 3 parts: your morning energy, your busy afternoon, and your relaxing evening. By the end of this session, you'll be able to tell your own story in English with confidence. Our goal here at English Ladder is simple: to help you stop translating in your head and start thinking in English. I'll be speaking clearly and at a comfortable pace, so you can shadow my voice and practice your pronunciation along with me. So, are you ready to take the first step on the ladder today? Let's jump right into our morning routine. The morning ritual. Let's start at the very beginning. The moment you open your eyes. Your morning sets the tone for the entire day. For me, the first thing I do isn't checking my phone. Instead, I like to take a moment to breathe. I usually wake up at 6:30 a.m., but I don't get out of bed immediately. I enjoy stretching my body for a minute or two while thinking about my goals for the day. Once I'm up, I head straight to the bathroom. Personal hygiene is a big part of any routine. I splash my face with cold water to feel more alert, and then I brush my teeth thoroughly. It's a simple task, but it's the first win of the morning. On days when I feel a bit sluggish, I'll jump in the shower for a quick rinse. There's nothing like a warm shower to clear your mind, right? Now, let's talk about fuel. I'm a big fan of a healthy breakfast. While some people prefer just a coffee, I like to fix myself a bowl of oatmeal with some fresh berries. Sometimes, if I'm in a hurry, I'll just grab a banana and a handful of nuts. And of course, I can't forget my tea. I usually sip on some green tea while I glance at my to-do list. Before I head out or start my work from home, I make sure I'm organized. I gather my essentials, my keys, my wallet, and my laptop. I always check the weather on my phone so I know whether to put on a light jacket or take an umbrella. Now it's your turn to think. What's the very first thing you do when you wake up? Do you reach for your phone or do you reach for a glass of water? The midday hustle. Now that our morning is off to a great start, let's move into the busiest part of the day, the afternoon. For most of us, this is when the real work happens. Around 1 p.m., I usually take a break to recharge. I believe having a proper lunch is essential. Instead of eating at my desk, I try to step away. I might heat up some leftovers or prepare a fresh salad. It's important to give your brain a rest, even if it's just for 20 minutes. After lunch, it's back to business. This is the time when I tackle my most important tasks. I open my laptop, check my inbox, and respond to urgent emails. If you're a student, this might be when you head to the library or join an online lecture. To stay focused, I like to use a technique called deep work. I set a timer and work without any distractions. No social media, no notifications, just pure focus. We all know that feeling of the afternoon slump around 3 or 4 p.m. when we start to feel a bit tired. When that happens, I don't reach for more sugar. Instead, I stretch my legs and go for a brief walk. Even a 5-minute stroll around the room or office can make a huge difference. I also make sure to stay hydrated by keeping a large bottle of water on my desk at all times. As the afternoon winds down, I start to wrap up my work. I don't like leaving things unfinished for the next day, so I spend the last 10 minutes organizing my workspace. I tidy up my notes and write down a brain dump of what needs to be done tomorrow. It's a great way to clear your head before you switch to your evening mode. How about you?
Do you find yourself more productive in the morning, or are you an afternoon person?
Unwinding and evening vibes. As the sun begins to set, it's time to shift gears. The evening is all about unwinding after a long day of climbing the ladder. For me, the transition starts the moment I kick off my shoes and change into something more comfortable. I like to call this decompressing. Before I dive into making dinner, I often put on some light music or a podcast, maybe even an episode of The English Ladder, to help me let go of any work-related stress. Dinner time is a sacred part of my evening. I enjoy the process of chopping vegetables and preparing a home-cooked meal. It feels mindful. Once the food is ready, I try to sit down at the table without any screens. If you live with family or roommates, this is the perfect time to catch up and share the highlights of your day. If you're alone, it's a wonderful moment to practice some self-talk in English. Describe your meal or your feelings out loud. After cleaning up the kitchen, I start my pre-sleep ritual. I'm not a big fan of watching intense movies late at night. Instead, I prefer to curl up on the sofa with a good book. Reading just a few pages helps my eyes rest from the blue light of my phone. Sometimes I'll light a scented candle or brew a cup of herbal tea. Chamomile is my favorite, to signal to my body that it's time to slow down. Finally, before I actually get into bed, I spend 2 minutes journaling. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. It's a simple habit that keeps me positive. Then I follow my skincare routine, dim the lights, and head to sleep. A consistent evening routine is the secret to waking up with energy the next morning. What does your perfect evening look like? Do you prefer a busy night out, or are you a homebody like me? Putting it into practice. Now that we've walked through a full day together, from the first light of morning to the quiet of the night, I want to challenge you. Learning English isn't just about listening, it's about taking action. You don't need a partner to practice speaking. You have the best partner right there with you, yourself. Start by narrating your life. When you are making your morning coffee, say it out loud. I am pouring the water now. Or, this coffee smells amazing. It might feel a bit strange at first, but this is how you build the habit. The sentences we practice today are your tools. Don't worry about having a perfect accent or using complex grammar. Focus on consistency. Even if you only have 5 minutes a day, spend those 5 minutes living in English. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Each small sentence you say is another step up the ladder toward your fluency. I also want to encourage you to record yourself. Use your phone to record a 1-minute summary of your day before you go to sleep. Listen back to it. You'll be surprised at how much you improve in just 1 week. This technique helps you find the gaps in your vocabulary. If you didn't know how to say, "I ironed my shirt," you can look it up. And tomorrow, that's a new phrase you've officially mastered. Think of your English journey as a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small wins, like understanding a new word in this podcast or successfully describing your lunch. You are doing the work, and I am incredibly proud of your progress. Keep showing up for yourself. In a moment, we'll wrap up today's episode, but before we do, let's take a deep breath and get ready for our final thoughts. Quick review and thinking challenge. Before we move towards the end of today's journey, let's do a quick mental workout. I'm going to ask you 3 simple questions about your own routine. Try to answer them out loud or in your head using the full sentences we practiced today. Ready? Here's the first one. What is the very first thing you do after your alarm goes off? Do you hit the snooze button or do you jump straight out of bed? Think about it. Maybe you say, "I usually stay in bed for 5 minutes," or "I immediately head to the kitchen." Great. Now, question number 2. What is your go-to afternoon snack or drink to keep your energy up? Is it a strong black coffee, or do you prefer a healthy piece of fruit? Using words like prefer or usually makes your English sound much more natural. And finally, question number 3.
How do you relax before you sleep? Do you scroll through your phone or do you enjoy the silence of a book? This is a great way to check if you've remembered the vocabulary like unwind or decompress that we discussed earlier. If you found it hard to answer, don't worry. You can always rewind this video and listen to those parts one more time. The beauty of this podcast is that you can listen as many times as you need. Repetition is the mother of all skills. Every time you hear these sentences, they become a permanent part of your brain. You're doing a fantastic job, and I can tell you're getting more comfortable with these words already. Hold on to that feeling of success as we head into our final wrap-up for today's episode.
Avoiding common pitfalls. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a little expert tip with you. When talking about daily routines, many English learners make a few small mistakes that are very easy to fix. For example, have you ever said, "I'm going to the bed"? In English, when we mean we are going to sleep, we simply say, "I'm going to bed." No need for the. It's a small detail, but it makes you sound so much more like a native speaker. Another common one is the difference between wake up and get up. Remember, wake up is when your eyes open and you are no longer sleeping. Get up is when you actually physically leave the bed. So you might wake up at 7, but not get up until 7:15 because you're enjoying those extra minutes of rest. Using these correctly will show your listeners that you really understand the logic of the language. Also, pay attention to the prepositions. We say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. But, and here is the tricky part, we say at night. So you might say, "I love reading in the evening, but I sleep deeply at night." It's these tiny steps on the ladder that help you climb higher and reach that fluency you've been working so hard for. I hope these tips help you feel even more confident the next time you talk about your day. You've learned the vocabulary, you've practiced the sentences, and now you know how to avoid the most common errors. You are becoming a more sophisticated English speaker every single minute. Stay with me for just one more minute because I have some final words and a special invitation for our next lesson.
Speaking like a native, you need more than just basic sentences. You need expressions that native speakers actually use. Let's look at a couple of idioms related to our daily routine. Have you ever heard the phrase early bird? An early bird is someone who loves waking up early and is most productive in the morning. On the other hand, if you prefer staying up late at night, you are a night owl. So which one are you? Are you an early bird or a night owl? Another great expression for your afternoon is to hit a wall. This is what we say when we suddenly feel very tired and lose all our energy, usually after a long day of work. You might say, "By 4 p.m., I usually hit a wall and need a short break." It's a very natural way to describe that feeling of being exhausted. And when you finally go to sleep at night, instead of just saying, "I'm going to sleep," you can say, "I'm going to hit the hay," or "hit the sack." It sounds much more informal and friendly. Using these idioms is like adding color to a black and white picture. It makes your English sound vibrant and alive. Try to pick just one of these today and use it in a sentence. Maybe tell a friend, "I'm a total night owl," or "I'm exhausted. I think I'm going to hit the sack early tonight." Don't be afraid to experiment with these phrases. Even if you make a mistake, it's all part of the learning process on the English ladder. We've covered so much ground today, from basic routine sentences to advanced idioms and common mistakes. You should be very proud of the time you've invested in yourself today. Knowledge is power, but only if you use it. So keep these expressions in your pocket and get ready to use them in your next conversation. We are almost at the end of our climb for today, so stay tuned for the final wrap-up.
The Shadowing Challenge. Before we finish, let's do one final challenge together. I call this the Fluency Sprint. I'm going to tell a very short story about a typical day, combining everything we've learned. I will say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it immediately after me, out loud. This is called shadowing, and it's the fastest way to improve your rhythm. Ready? Let's go. I usually wake up early, but I stay in bed for a few minutes to stretch. After I get up, I head to the kitchen to fix myself a quick breakfast. In the afternoon, I'm quite a busy bee, and I try to tackle my tasks with focus. But by 4 p.m., I often hit a wall and need a short walk to recharge. When evening comes, I love to unwind by reading a book or listening to music. It helps me decompress after a long day on the English ladder. Finally, around 11 p.m., I'm ready to hit the sack and get some rest. Fantastic! How did that feel? If you could keep up with me, you were doing better than you think. Shadowing might feel like a workout for your mouth, and that's exactly what it is. You are training your muscles to produce English sounds naturally. Keep practicing this specific part of the video until the words flow out of your mouth without any effort. You've put in so much work today, and the results will show sooner than you expect. Now stay with me for the final part of our episode, where I have a special message for you. Cultural perspective and small talk. Before we reach the end of today's climb, let's talk about something interesting: cultural routines. Did you know that the concept of a routine can change depending on where you are in the world? For example, in many English-speaking countries, small talk about your daily routine is a very common way to break the ice. People often ask, "How was your morning?" or "Busy day?" not because they want a long report, but as a way to show friendliness. In the UK, for instance, many people's afternoon routine involves a cuppa. That's a cup of tea, usually around 4 p.m. It's their way of hitting the pause button. In the US, morning routines are often very fast-paced, with people grabbing a coffee to go on their way to work. Understanding these small cultural habits helps you not just speak the language, but truly understand the people who speak it. It makes your English feel more authentic. Learning these cultural nuances is a high step on the English ladder. It moves you from being a student to being a communicator. When you talk about your routine now, you can add these little details. You could say, "I'm having my afternoon cuppa right now," or "I'm having a typical busy Monday." These small phrases show that you are deeply connected to the English-speaking world and its lifestyle. I want you to think, is there a part of your daily routine that is unique to your culture? Maybe a specific breakfast you eat, or a way you spend your evenings. Try to explain it in English to yourself tonight. It's a fantastic exercise. You've been an incredible student throughout this long episode, and I've enjoyed every second of this journey with you. Now we are finally ready for our final wrap-up, so don't go anywhere just yet. Tech tools for your routine. As we spend so much of our day with technology, why not make it work for your English? In this part, I want to share a digital routine tip. One of the simplest yet most effective things you can do is to change the language settings on your phone to English. Think about it. You check your phone dozens of times a day. By seeing words like settings, messages, or calendar in English constantly, they become second nature to you. Another great habit to add to your afternoon is using a voice assistant. If you have Siri or Google Assistant, try asking them questions in English. Say, "What's the weather today?" or "Set an alarm for 7 a.m." It's a low-pressure way to practice your pronunciation and see if an AI can understand you. It's like having a little English tutor in your pocket that's available 24/7 during your daily routine. You can also use habit tracking apps to stay consistent. Label your habits in English. For example, morning stretch, read 5 pages, or watch English ladder. There's a psychological thrill in checking off a task, and doing it in English gives you a double sense of achievement. Technology shouldn't be a distraction. It should be the wind beneath your wings as you climb higher on the English ladder. I personally use my digital calendar to block out English time every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Treat it like an important meeting with yourself. You deserve that time to grow.
We have covered every aspect of a daily routine today, from physical habits to digital ones. You now have a massive toolkit to improve your life and your language. Now, stay with me for one last moment as we conclude this incredible session. The 7-Day English Routine Challenge. Before we finish our journey today, I want to set a special mission for you. I call it the 7-Day English Ladder Challenge. Starting from tomorrow morning, I want you to pick just 3 sentences from today's episode. 1 for your morning, 1 for your afternoon, and 1 for your evening. Write them down on a sticky note and put it somewhere you'll see it, like on your bathroom mirror or your computer screen. For the next 7 days, every time you perform that action, say the sentence out loud. If you're brushing your teeth, say, "I'm brushing slowly and carefully." If you're feeling tired at work, say, "I'm hitting a wall. I need a break." By doing this, you are turning passive knowledge into active skill. You're not just learning English anymore, you're living it. This small commitment will create a massive shift in your confidence. And here's the best part. I want you to use the comment section below as your accountability partner. Come back to this video every day for the next week and comment, "Day 1 done," "Day 2 done," and so on. Tell us which sentences you chose. When you see others doing the same, you'll realize you are part of a global community of learners all climbing the same ladder together. You're not alone in this. I will be reading your comments and cheering you on. There is something powerful about declaring your goals to the world. It makes you more likely to achieve them. So, are you in? Are you ready to take the 7-day challenge? I truly believe in you, and I know you can do this. We've had an incredible session today, and I'm so energized by your dedication. Stay tuned for our very last segment, where we'll officially wrap things up. Weekends versus weekdays. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about the daily grind, those busy Monday to Friday tasks. But what happens when the weekend finally arrives? Your routine probably changes completely, right? On Saturdays and Sundays, most of us love to sleep in. This doesn't just mean waking up late, it means staying in bed longer than usual because you don't have an alarm clock screaming at you. It's the ultimate weekend luxury. On the weekend, instead of a quick breakfast, you might have brunch. That's that wonderful meal that's too late for breakfast and too early for lunch. It's a time to take it easy and perhaps meet up with friends or family. You might go for a long walk in the park or spend the afternoon catching up on your favorite hobby. The language we use for the weekend is much more relaxed. We use phrases like chilling out, hanging out, or simply taking a breather. It's also the perfect time for self-care. This might be part of your routine where you do a deep cleaning of your house. We call that spring cleaning, even if it's not spring. Or maybe you spend time meal prepping for the week ahead. Even on your days off, you can keep climbing the English ladder. Why not watch a movie in English or listen to a fun English podcast while you're doing your weekend chores? It's learning without the stress. The key to a great routine is balance. You work hard during the week, so you should recharge your batteries during the weekend. Think about your upcoming weekend. Do you have any special plans? Are you going to get away for a trip? Or are you having a staycation at home? Try to describe your weekend plans using these new phrases. You're doing a fantastic job staying focused through this deep dive. Now, stay tuned because we are finally approaching our final destination for today's episode. And there we have it. We have officially climbed every step of today's journey together on the English Ladder podcast. From your first breath in the morning to the moment you hit the sack at night, we've covered every detail of a daily routine. I am incredibly proud of you for staying focused through this entire masterclass. Remember, fluency isn't a destination, it's a habit. By practicing these sentences every day, you are making English a natural part of your life. If you enjoyed this deep dive and found it valuable, please give this video a big thumbs up. Your likes help us continue creating high-quality content for you. If you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button and join the English Ladder family. Hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when our next episode drops. We have so much more in store for you, and you won't want to miss a single step. Now it's time for the comment of the day. I want to know, what was the most useful new phrase you learned today? Write it down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to start your 7-day challenge right now. Tell us you're in, and we will cheer you on. I personally read and reply to as many comments as I can because this community is what makes this podcast so special. Thank you for your energy, your comments, and your support. As we close today's episode, I want to leave you with one thought. You are capable of amazing things, one sentence at a time. If you want to keep the momentum going, click on the next video on your screen to continue your practice. I can't wait to see you there. Until next time, keep practicing, keep staying positive, and keep climbing. This is your host from English Ladder Podcast signing off. Take care and goodbye for now.